Thank you very much, everyone. Welcome this afternoon to today's special meeting of Council. Firstly, I'd like to Council acknowledge the traditional owners of these lands, waters and skies, the Borough people. We acknowledge and respect their continuing connections to their lands, waters, skies, culture and the contribution they make to life and spirit of our community. We pay respect to their past and present elders and extend this respect to all our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Mr. CEO, we have a full contingent of councillors, officers, and any apologies? No apologies, thank you. Councillor, any conflict of interest? No. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to note that the agenda was actually issued out to the public, noting that the public attendance at the council this meeting will actually be live streamed. Can we confirm that this is the case?
Through you, Mayor, unfortunately we couldn't organise for a live stream, but we are recording and it will be up on the website.
Would that be deceptive conduct written on the council? That actually posted out an agenda and actually not delivering on what's been sort of notified to the public?
You probably have to explain to me what deceptive conduct is, because it's certainly not the intent of the officers. It was what we do on the standard meeting agendas, and unfortunately we weren't able to organise one.
So when was the agenda issued out to the public?
I'm sorry, Councillor, I don't understand.
It's 48 hours, and you have issued out an agenda noting out to the public that this meeting would have been a live stream to YouTube, and yet at no instance that was made that we're looking to actually fulfil that notification.
Sorry, Councillor, are you asking a question or making a point?
No, I'm asking a question.
Thank you. I think the point's being made, Councillor. Thank you, and answered. And as mentioned, the recording of this meeting will be on our website. That's good. Thank you. Item 4 today is our Governance and Finance, the 2023-24 Quarterly Financial Report. Hand over to Gihan. Thank you, Gihan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll take the report as read. However, I would like to highlight a few points that officers feel are important or not in terms of our results for the 23-24 financial year. First, the financial information we are considering has been validated by Victoria Auditor Office, the BoQ. This year, BoQ used their own team to conduct the audit. Since it was their first audit, they did some extra reviews before confirming the results that we are considered today. Now I would like to bring Councillors' attention to page 5 of the detailed quarterly financial report, where you can find the comprehensive income statement. The surplus or deficit for the year shows a deficit of 601,000. So it is important to understand that this number, whether it is a surplus or deficit, doesn't fully reflect the Council's financial performance, especially for a small borough of ours. These figures include capital grant income, but do not fully account for the related expenses. To give some context, in 21-22, we reported a surplus of 8.4 million, thanks to 7.7 million capital grant income we accounted in that financial year. So what we need to focus on the result after removing this capital grant income. So we refer to that results as underlying results, which shows the true performance of our operation. So in minimum, we expect that results to be break-even. So for 23-24, when you remove the capital income, what we will see a deficit of 825,000. So this deficit comes down to two main factors. The timing of the financial assistance grant. Only 28,000 of the total 539,000 allocation has been recognized as income in this financial year because the rest was accounted in previous years. The other thing is a reclassification of expenses relating to these new cloud-based systems. We have made an accounting adjustment to identify 501,000 as operating expenses for the implementation of new cloud-based system. Of this amount, 442,000 was incurred in previous years. At the same time, we received 350,000 in grant income over multiple years to support this project. So in turn, the council contribution has been 150,000. And again, if you look at that capital grant income, we have never considered that in calculating our underlying result because we accounted it as a capital income. So if you look at that 825,000 deficits, that is after considering this entire 501,000 as operating expense. So in our opinion, to get a clear, true picture, we need to at least adjust for these two items. When you adjust for those two items, 23-24 result is not a deficit. On the page 7 of the financial report, you will see, again according to the local government's performance reporting framework definition, the underlying result is a deficit of 825,000, which we just discussed. But when you look at the underlying result on recurring basis, that is after adjusting for the timing of recurrent grant, non-recurrent operating project related income and expense items, as well as after adjusting for those accounting adjustments which we just discussed, then we can see what is the true underlying result on recurring basis. So as you can see on the page 7, the underlying result on recurring basis is a surplus of 258,000 for 23-24 financial year. This is again close to 300,000 higher than what we projected, what we forecasted when we were presenting the final forecast. And this extra surplus is mainly because of extra income from interest as well as some savings in our operating expenses. And again, it's important to note, councillors, when we look at our income, when we do the forecast, we take a conservative approach, leaving it to be adjusted at the end. Definitely because of the higher interest rate, we have a significant higher income from interest for the 23-24 financial year. If you look at the cash result, and again it's a surplus, and we have additional 233,000 cash surplus for the year. So that is 233,000 has not been allocated for any project. So that is something council can consider in the future if council wants to do any new projects. And again, you may wonder whether we have this extra cash surplus because of the project that we have not done or not commenced during the financial year. Again, the answer is no, because one thing what we have done before calculating that cash surplus, all unspent funds of the operating project as well as capital project has been transferred to reserve accounts. So this cash surplus is after those reserve transfers. In addition to that, as per the adopted budget, we have transferred 259,000 to general reserve account before calculating that cash surplus. So that cash additional 233,000 cash surplus even after transferring 259,000 to general reserve account. If you look at in terms of the balance sheet, we will note council does not have any loans. On the balance sheet, we will see in total 8.9 million in our reserve account, of which 1.4 million in our general reserve, 1.9 million in our asset renewal reserve. All these reserves are backed by investment in term deposits. And overall, if you look at 23-24 results, it meets all financial sustainability indicators that we have captured in our council plan, except for one. So, as we can see in the quarterly financial report, council has spent only 1 million against the forecast of 3.5 million on building and infrastructure assets. So that is having an impact on the for asset renewal and upgrade work. But as I mentioned, whatever the unspent money we have transferred to reserve account, but that is not getting reflected in this indicator. So it's because of that we are not meeting that particular indicator for the 23-24 financial year. The councillors, the recommendation is to note the quarterly financial report to 30th June 2024, and it is on page 7 of the agenda.
Thanks, Adina. Councillor, do you have any questions, firstly, in regard to the quarterly report as presented today? Regarding the quarterly report?
Yes, and if you just question a few items on expenditure regarding on page 6 results this quarter.
Just page 6 on which report?
Sorry, page 17. Is there capital project wise? Is it point one's a lighthouse reserve upgrade P1 huts? You've got note 1, so you've actually spent of $26,000. It's going to noting that's the Aboriginal sculpture signage that's been completed and council have been waiting on relevant approvals and on to install on the site. Can we have more detail on that, and when was that being brought to council for discussion and a motion passed on it?
And through me, sorry, I don't understand the question, Councillor Gow. The project, the stage 1, has always included Aboriginal interpretive signage. That was a grant fund that was signed, and the expectation of state government that we would do that. We've shown you drafts of the design through briefing reports, and the design's been now converted or constructed, and we're just waiting for the installation. So I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Where in council was that brought to light that the council was choosing the design, and when was the public, when was there any public consultation over that artwork sculpture?
There wasn't any consultation except with the Borough, who quite rightly had the final say on the design for interpretive signage around the Borough story. So we weren't going to enter into a popularity contest around what the design is. The Borough were included in the grant because of the cultural significance of the site and the importance of their occupation of the site before we got here. And the signage reflects the story that they want to tell on that site.
I think also to add that obviously council approved stage 1 budget, and it was always in the stage 1 budget.
So it comes down to, if we're into reconciliation, isn't it about bringing the community along with decisions to make sure that there is no division within our community?
That's not my understanding of the reconciliation process, Councillor.
Thank you. Any other questions in regard to the quarterly report, councillors?
Okay. Point 14, staff cost capitalisation. Can you explain that staff efforts in individual projects were not significant in the 23-24 financial year? So all staff costs are expensed for the financial year. Could you explain more about that?
Thank you, Councillor Rivers. Normally what we do when we do the budget, when you identify our capital project work, because what will happen during the year, some of our staff will spend their time on those capital projects. So what does that mean? Even in terms of salary, we incur some cost in relation to those capital projects. So then we have the option through accounting standard to even recognize that cost as a part of that project cost. And then when we, after doing a capital project, if we see a physical asset being created, we attach that value to that particular physical asset. So that's what happened through this staff cost capitalization. But if you look at the last financial year, we have only spent 1 million against the budget. So because of that, the staff time that has spent on those individual projects has not that material for us to capitalize those expenses. Instead of that, we have charged those directly to our income statement statement as expenses under employee cost. So if we had capitalized, we calculated it, there would have been close to 40,000 coming out from our employee cost getting added to this figure. So, but still it's the same employee cost, it's just moving from one basket to another. Instead of, so we haven't done that, we had that discussion with our auditors, even they felt since it is not material, no point of capitalizing. So we have straight away expense that amount to our income statement as employee cost. So what we haven't capitalized is there in our employee cost line item on our comprehensive income statement.
Thank you. Any further questions, Council, on the quarterly report? If not, can I get someone to move the Council notes the quarterly finance report to 30th June 2024? Someone move that? Move Councillor Binky, second Councillor Thomas. All those in favour? Councillor Guerrero? Yes, sorry. Thank you. So moved. Stay where you are. Thank you. Item 4.2 is the annual financial report, 2024 to 25. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Again, Councillors. Earlier, I summarized the financial result in presenting our quarterly financial report. So even in the annual financial statement, what we have is the same actual results for the 23-24 financial year. But the key difference between quarterly and the annual report is that in quarterly report we compare our actuals against the forecast, but if you look at our annual financial report, there we compare actual against the actuals of the preceding financial year. And one thing we have done is another additional things, because when we do the annual financial statement, we have to use general purpose financial statement, and again there is a model financial report provided by the LGV. So we don't have much room to include anything additional or even provide additional commentaries within that financial statement itself. So because of that, one thing what we have done, we have given additional attachment explaining some key movement in our income and expense items on our comprehensive income statement for the benefit of the community. So I would like to bring Council's attention to the assessment that we have summarized on the agenda. So one thing what we have done, we have used this BoQ financial sustainability indicators, and we have applied them to our 23-24 result to see what we see. So if you just on the face value of the information that we see there, so what we will see, there are 7 financial sustainability indicators. So if we take 23-24 financial year, out of 7, 2 fall into high risk and other 2 fall into medium risk category. It's just based on the face value. But having said that, I know we discussed earlier the timing of the financial assistance grant and the delaying commencing this planned capital project have impacted those 4 indicators. So for us to get a better understanding, again it's good for us to look at those results, keeping those 2 factors in our mind. Then only we can properly interpret our financial results for that year. At the same time, what we think a 5-year average which we have given there will provide a better assessment of our financial sustainability. Because financial sustainability is not something, the results that we achieve in a single year. It's a financial sustainability over the period. So 5-year average is a good indicator for us to look at it, for us to get a good understanding about the Council's financial sustainability. In this paper, along with the financial statement, even we would like Council to consider the performance statement. It's another mandatory reporting requirement. So all councils in Victoria needs to report against these 20 performance indicators. So among these performance indicators, councillors will find service performance indicators. Financial statement present the financial performance. But if you look at these service indicators, that really tells how well the council has performed in providing key services to the community during that financial year. And again, BoQ has to audit or review the results that we have included in that report. It's a part of the audit. So again, in summary, if you look at the performance statement, so council has performed well against all indicators, and there are some exceptions. And again, on the agenda paper itself, we have provided explanation for those noted exceptions. Regarding the governance and management checklist, the Borough has made all qualitative measures for 23-24 financial year, indicating we have a good governance and management framework in place. And again, as I mentioned, so the BoQ has reviewed both financial statement as well as performance statement, and they have confirmed that they are going that those have been presented fairly. Even our Audit and Risk Committee have reviewed this statement. Even the BoQ made a presentation to the Tax Committee in the previous meeting. The recommendation is on page 30.
Thank you very much, Keith. And you mentioned that it was passed at the Audit and Risk Committee, and also at that Audit and Risk Committee BoQ. We're glowing in terms of the work of yourself and your team in presenting all the financials from the Borough, and those make point of congratulating you, so certainly on behalf of the councillors, we'd also like to thank you for your hard work and presentation, not just today, but obviously over this term of this council, so thank you very much. Councillors, have some questions in regard to the financial report for 24-25?
Yes, and can we ask when the councillors actually get to sit down and actually have a briefing on this discussion on the annual financial report? Asking when did councillors have a briefing to discuss this report?
Well, councillors met prior to this meeting.
What time was that? 11:30. So did we actually sit down and discuss that?
I haven't finished answering the question. Also, we were briefed. I think a few weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, we had a briefing on the reports also. And obviously this is an accumulation of all the quarterly reports that we've been getting throughout the year. And obviously it was presented to, as you would have seen at the Audit and Risk Committee, this was presented with BoQ at the Audit and Risk Committee as well.
But regarding these final papers that were actually submitted to us last Friday,
that's right.
Yes, so the question was, when will we did council sit down and actually discuss this detail regarding the annual financial report?
Well, through you could have asked the questions at the briefing a couple of weeks ago, and there's certainly, as you know, plenty of opportunities to ask questions.
Not all the papers were actually fully done.
Well, the advantage that this council has is that we brief you every quarter. In the lead up to the budget, we generally give you about 10 briefings, so we hope through the extensive amount of briefing that we give you that you've got a good understanding of the financial position of the council. And it certainly hasn't changed in the 2 meetings that you've attended, the Audit and Risk and the briefing previously, in a significant way that would make you need to reassess the position you may have come to on the final budget. So,
Councillor, do you have a question in regard to the details of the report? No? Councillors, any questions in regard to the financial report? No? I just wanted to just finally state that obviously we're looking through the reserves. I know, this council made a point in the last budget making sure that we didn't bring any new large capital projects because we want to make sure that the new council coming in would have some funds there to actually go ahead and actually budget for some of the things they'd like to have. And I think this report shows that the reserves are quite healthy. Obviously the asset renewal budget is quite substantial, but I think on the flip side of that, the asset renewal budget is there to actually do the asset renewal. So I think we look forward to the new council providing direction from officers how that asset renewal budget will be spent. So council's got a recommendation on page 13. Can someone move the recommendation? Move Councillor Tolhurst, seconded. Councillor Minty, thank you. All those in favour? Against? Against? Thank you. This is
Call division, thank you.
Call the division, thank you. I will call it division. All those in favour? Councillor Tolhurst, Councillor Eccles, Councillor Minty. Against? Councillor Googhow and Councillor Grout. The motion is passed. Thank you. And councillors, that's the close of the meeting today. Thank you very much for your attendance. And thank you for those who look over as well. Thank you.
Just to clarify the details, government's rules say that this could be reasonably deferred to another meeting. Could this be reasonably deferred?
Not at the time.
No.
And could it be used to influence any voting?
So
Could it be used to influence any voting, approval for a decision today?
in the voting on the
So
election, what's a report?
it's just it's an administrative process. Sorry, it's an administrative process.